Germany to work closely with island countries on climate change. EMTV launches film documentary Farming PNG. Week-long training for athletes and coaches on anti-doping.
This is National EMTV News with Meriba Tulo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Tuesday's news. The government and its stakeholders are working together to advance the agriculture sector through information and communication technology, ICT. Today, the Department of Agriculture and Livestock and its partners met in Port Moresby to consult on the e-agriculture strategy for Papua New Guinea. Secretary for the Department of Communication and Information, Paulius Koni, commended DAL for recognizing ICT as a tool for improving food security, nutrition and income-earning opportunities.
The stakeholder consultative workshop was conducted by the Department of Agriculture and Livestock and the National Information and Communication Technology Authority, or NICTA, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and the International Telecommunications Union and other key stakeholders. DAL Deputy Secretary Stephen Mesa said in the past, PNG's majority agriculture population was visited by extension officers whose job was to educate the farmers. Since the 1980s, the number of extension officers has decreased to one officer per 300,000 to 400,000 farmers.
How on earth do you expect these people can be reached with very limited number of extension officers? Most of them are aging, you see. And not many people, many young people are interested in the areas of extension anymore. Oh, this is where the telecommunication, ICT, becomes a very, very important tool.
Because of this and the increasing need to bring PNG farmers up to speed with sustainable agriculture, food security and climate change issues, ICT is seen as the way forward. Secretary for the Department of Communication and Information, Paulius Koni, said the advantage for PNG is that the country can learn from lessons from other countries who use ICT in the agriculture sector.
Our country is an agriculture-based country, so for us to develop a strategy to increase productivity, to ensure that we have food security in Papua New Guinea is very important for us.
Former Extension Officer and agricultural expert Brown Bai said ICT can be a tool to improve the way farmers go about their daily business.
Present example is, all our commodities are being hit by different pests and diseases. And they need to know what these pests and diseases are and where they are spreading, how they can overcome the pest and disease problems, and exactly where they can get information from to attend to some of these problems.
Secretary Koni also announced that his department is partnering with PNG Dataco Limited to operate and maintain the integrated government information system for the whole of government. The Department of Communication and Information is focused on ensuring relevant policy frameworks are put in place, and it is happy to partner with DAL in implementing the e-agriculture strategy. Deli Waigeno, National, EMTV News.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference of Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands are against seabed mining in Papua New Guinea and the Pacific. Cardinal John Ribat said in light of climate change vulnerability in the region, seabed mining is of great concern.
Cardinal Ribat said there has been very little independent awareness on seabed mining and its impact in the country.
Because it was never tested, it was never done, and how is it that we will be the first that this will start here with us?
Based on information they received on how seabed mining will be conducted, the Catholic Bishops' Conference in their 58th annual general meeting last month made their stance.
If it is not safe, then it should not go on.
They say at this stage, PNG as a nation does not have the technology and the infrastructure to deal with any unexpected environmental disaster, and the social and environmental impact may be too high a cost to pay.
This activity is not in the deep ocean. It's right where our people are going fishing and so on. And I was at home one Christmas, and my people, because I come also from an island, Watom Island, and people were telling me that Bishop, can you tell these people, because when we are fishing in the night, the ship that come around to do their studies and so on is coming close to us. And we are afraid of what they are doing when this is happening like this. So you see, such thing like this is happening. The people already are fearing.
Nautilus Minerals, who is pushing to be the first company to mine the seabed of PNG, currently has exploration licenses over parts of PNG waters. While production has not started yet, approvals given could be an issue, as so far PNG does not have policies and laws in place to govern seabed mining. Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Cardinal John Ribat says Germany has confirmed to work more closely with Pacific Island countries on climate change. This follows the Cardinal's return from a trip to Germany to raise climate change concerns in the Pacific with the German government and civil society.
Both Cardinal Ribat and Catholic Bishops' Conference Secretary, Father Victor Roach, were in Germany on this climate change trip. Cardinal Ribat's message, specifically to the German government, was that policies must be set to ensure efforts to reduce carbon emission will happen.
Survival. We call that nations should realize the high risk that we are facing, and our survival depends on their cooperation to help us reduce this greenhouse emission into the atmosphere.
With Germany set to host the COP23 meeting this November, the Cardinal's visit was also to request the German government to speak on behalf of Pacific Island countries.
And also at the same time, we asked them also to, if we could be included in these meetings so that we know exactly where we are and that our position and our voice is well represented.
Cardinal Ribat said the trip also confirmed commitment by Germany to conduct climate change surveys in the Pacific after the COP23 meeting.
The Central Pacific, because they have small islands, Kiribati, Tuvalu, and the Marianas, and also the Marshall Islands, and Fiji, also parts of Fiji.
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
6 Okteri landowner villages will soon supply Tabubil, Bige and Kyunga with over 3.6 million eggs and 26,000 broiler chickens. The 7 million kina project was initiated by the Okteri Development Foundation in partnership with Israeli agro company Innovative Agro Industries. The project will generate revenue for villages within the mine through sales. So far, Fubilan Catering Services has shown interest in buying 6,000 eggs per day. You're with National EMTV News. We'll have more after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Businessman Justin Parker has been found guilty by the Waigani National Court for the death of his chief engineer, Lepan Nason, in June 2015. The verdict was delivered by Deputy Chief Justice Sir Gib Salika before a packed courtroom.
Initially, Parker was charged for murder under the Criminal Code Act in June 2015. However, the charge was arraigned to manslaughter. Yesterday, the National Court in Waigani found Parker guilty of manslaughter. The court heard that Parker assaulted his chief engineer outside his house in June 2015. The court found that his chief engineer, the late Lepan Nason, died from injuries he sustained from the assault. Since September 2015, Parker was in custody until a national court decision allowed him out on bail in December 2016. Following the verdict, Parker will now be remanded at the Bomana prison awaiting his sentence. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
A crew on the Route 16 bus in Port Moresby has lost 100 kina to police officers who claimed the money was for infringement of traffic rules. According to the bus crew, after they were questioned by the 4 policemen, the officers took the bus crew to the Bomana prison and threatened to lock up the driver.
The bus 16 involved was travelling to Bomana when it was stopped at the 8-mile bus stop outside Port Moresby. The 4 policemen involved approached the driver and asked why the bus was carrying passengers with a white plate.
Bus bus BFH now almost 5 months now. 5 months to paper and all something I'm still talo process. So okay, you know some minus boy bus area up na straight in paper na all something I'm talo process so. Bisa kan resign me bla give him back. I will mo give me plan saway.
This incident is just one of many challenges the PMV operators and their crew face on a daily basis. After assaulting the bus crew, they took the 100 kina from the crew's take-ins and took off.
All come stop lo backseat bumi bla. Na no ka recently all come just come talk na. All the one routine blo disla bus eh. One routine blo disla bus now mikirap no do no bus 16 ne. Na nogat number lo backseat all to say nogat number stop but mibla wasim car na raus. Disla kai now all asking me lo license. Now me give license lo me okay. Next time all to boskur kam. Now same time boskur kala lo car now all karim po okay. Tu lilik man all just leave him nothing. All rausi mogata money style pogeta.
Senior police officers in the NCD commands have been notified on this incident, and they are encouraging PMV operators to report such incidents to traffic police. Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
The PNG One Nation Party held its first campaign for the New Guinea Islands in Manus Province. Party leader Joe Tonde and executives travelled to Manus Island last week to campaign for the Manus Open candidate Stephen Gibson. He is among 41 candidates who will be contesting the Manus Open seat currently held by sitting MP Ronnie Knight.
District Transportation Infrastructures, District Business Developments, LLG Ward Developments, Church Capacity Infrastructures and Good Governance are policies of former Finance Secretary Stephen Gibson, who is contesting the Manus Open seat.
Now we mark him box 24, Stephen Bobulis Gibson go inside, and by help him health services will change, and by help him education services will change. There's no money stopping this inside 10 million kina, blow office blow you. All you need him is good plan experience beginning to go inside. And we can make it a good plan look sabe, no sabe him work blow church, get him inside Manus, now develop him good plan community.
One Nation Party executives accompanied Stephen last week to Manus Island to stage his campaigns there. Party leader Joe Tonde, who is contesting the Moresby Northwest seat, and Secretary Jonah Como spoke highly of ONP intentions to form the government.
One, also Papua New Guinea is a Christian country, but you know what office block Christian country is that government knows funding church. Also, so he is a missionary. We look him also. You must put him on the ministry, religion ministry. On the national government budget. Plenty of political parties only give him 10% or so. People are not giving him 10%. Then God will be blessing Papua New Guinea. You must give him big plan of God. That suppose PNG One Nation Party, and me got number and me go inside the him. The next government after this election. No good by you kirab, no good also one picking in Manus, and by creating history, like I'm a prime minister of Papua New Guinea.
Manus Province has been cut off from the main government service delivery line for years due to remoteness to main centers. After successive campaigns in Lorengau town, the convoy travelled by boat to Prodolo Island, a small island of Lorengau town which is about 2,000 people. On the island, One Nation Party donated 4 trophies and footballs as part of their donations towards the Prodolo soccer tournament.
The One Nation Party
long bring him look sabe long nupla nubla association inside la manus inside lele madi but you can look sabe long and you come inside you direct straight long local area long lele madi bu cheben inside la manus long bring him samla look sabe we request people stop long and
Eric Arupma, National MTV News.
MTV is pleased to announce the official launch of its third film documentary, Farming PNG. The documentary captures a visual journey across Papua New Guinea's vast agriculture sector through the eyes of a veteran in the country's agricultural affairs. According to Farming PNG Director Marco Venditti, the series aims to inspire viewers on the sector's potential to transform the nation's economy.
MTV, with the support of CPL Group, will be hosting the screening of the MTech multimedia-produced documentary series Farming PNG at the Paradise Cinema tomorrow at 5 p.m.
And I think that the benefit of a show like this, of this caliber, the kind of impact it will have internationally in terms of promoting PNG, promoting the industry, all of that, it's going to be astronomical, and I think it's fantastic to see.
Initially a 6-part series recently aired on MTV. This 75-minute documentary captures the best moments of a remarkable journey taken on by PNG's agriculture whiz Steve Woodhouse into the heart of PNG's agricultural sector.
Papua New Guineans were the first people to domesticate sugar, the first people to domesticate taro, and there are other crops that belong to Papua New Guinea and have been developed. And it's those early farmers that started planting those from the bush and cultivating them as farmers. So farming here has a long, long history, longer than most countries in the world, longer than anywhere in Europe.
For me, it's been an incredible pleasure and an honor, in a way, to discover this country through this project, because not only we were following the agricultural route, but we're also actually discovering how beautiful Papua New Guinea is.
From the highlands to the coast of PNG, Woodhouse's journey reveals its economic potential in an era that is seeing a shift of focus to a more sustainable means of development, while also exposing factors that suppress the growth of a sector with a capacity to boost the nation's economic growth.
For the coffee industry, for the oil palm industry, and everything else. But we wanted to showcase examples where people had worked through some of those constraints and come up with solutions. And in many cases, there were Papua New Guinean people who did that. They were being the innovators. They're coming up with new ideas and ways of doing things. And if PNG can fix its infrastructure and its marketing issues, there is still a massive potential for growth in the agriculture sector.
Woodhouse had developed a passion for PNG's agricultural sector since he started in 1967, says he hopes to help PNG rediscover the centuries-long relationship with land. The series is produced by MTech Multimedia, a subsidiary of MTV, and supported by a number of sponsors. Melissa Goviro, National MTV News.
And now a look at the finance news. The kino closed unchanged at $0.3145 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kino was buying $0.307 $0.4101 Australian dollars, €0.2725 and 33.83 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, coffee, cocoa and copper closed higher, while gold is trading lower. Crude oil and copper closed higher, while palm oil closed the day lower. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones was closed on Monday for Memorial Day. The ASX closed 10 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed 8 points higher. You're with National MTV News. We'll be back with more, including stories making headlines overseas. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. The People's Progress Party says if it forms government, the party will push for legislative changes on temporary special measures to be adopted by Parliament. PPP leader Ben Micah said one of the policies is to have more women involvement in decision-making for the country's development. This policy is to see 4 women representing each region in Parliament for 5 years.
Not addressing the topic of corruption today, People's Progress Party leader Ben Micah spoke more strongly on strengthening women's involvement in nation building. Micah said if PPP forms the next government, they will make legislative changes to Section 102 of the Constitution to enable the appointment of women representatives under the temporary special measures.
By no 4 plan man or 1 3 plan no God. And by 4 plan Mary, by marking 4 plan region of Papua New Guinea, by me bring him on the come inside. You know, so on top of women that are going to be elected in the election, we will have another 4 appointed reps representing the 4 regions of our country. Now walk along all this line and belong sit down inside one plus special commission on women, whereby Parliament and by Sanapim, long look long all the issues that may affect him or Mary.
Another focus area is to push for the Equality and Participation Act to become effective. This means the appointment of 22 women to represent each province at Parliament for 5 terms. PPP believes this will pave the way for more equality in political and parliamentary leadership.
In our party, we want to take a fundamental shift by coming up with some radical suggestions that will improve the participation of our women. 50% of the population. 50% of the population is being suppressed, is being oppressed, it is being denied, it is being pushed to the side, and they are not contributing to their full potential to the development of our country.
This policy has been supported today by women candidates of the People's Progress Party and welcomed by members of the Women in Politics and the National Council of Women.
As a woman standing, I'm very, very proud that PPP has endorsed me, and I believe that with his policies, especially the one with the women, he will definitely push that through.
Now me plus stop inside the hungry, no got money. Time to look long. Party by bringing no plus something. We want sustainable economic development, son.
National Council of Women President Dorothy Tekwi told MTV News she believes in this initiative by PPP and is calling on voters to support women candidates and good leaders who will make a difference for the country. Merlin Diakotam, National MTV News.
Turning overseas now, golfing legend Tiger Woods has been arrested in Florida on suspicion of drink driving. It's another blow for the former world #1, whose career has been on a rapid decline due to injuries, inconsistent form and high-profile scandals.
The golfing great like we've never seen him before. Just after 3 a.m., police pulling Tiger Woods over near his Jupiter, Florida mansion. In his booking report, charged with driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Woods booked by the Palm Beach Sheriff's Office at 7:18 after a sobering night in jail, released by 10:50 a.m.
There it is.
The golfer who once dominated the tour, winning 14 major tournaments, seemingly destined to be the greatest ever in a free fall.
Now,
Since his first mishap behind the wheel, the crash in 2009, suspected of driving under the influence that led to revelations of numerous affairs and the breakup of his marriage.
I think this changes everything for Tiger Woods. At age 41, unexpected and really could derail any chances he has to come back.
Recent years marred by crippling back and knee injuries. He's played only once this season, just last month after his most recent surgery. Woods saying he felt no pain, recently appearing on Good Morning America.
The mind is sharp. I just need to get the body willing to do it.
But the man who was the world's #1 ranked golfer for 5 years tonight sits at number 876 with criminal charges hanging over his head.
2 years of civil war in Yemen has created what the United Nations describes as the world's largest humanitarian crisis. As well as an impending famine, the country is now facing a cholera outbreak.
Frail, weak, and fighting for their lives. These are the faces of Yemen's latest crisis. Preying on the weak and hungry, cholera has rapidly spread throughout the country. This hospital, already crippled by war, is overwhelmed. Yemen is a country broken by war and hunger, a place where the young and old become the first victims. It's always been poor, but 2 years of fighting has left it unable to cope with this emergency.
The war has meant that everything is deteriorating, especially the health system. There are no medicines, no access to clean water. It's catastrophic.
Outside, the patients keep coming. But without spare beds, they're treated in the courtyard. With over 200 new cases arriving each day to this hospital alone, makeshift tents have been set up to deal with the numbers. Cholera is cheap and easy to treat, but the UN says the delivery of aid has been slowed down by both sides, which means supplies don't reach the people in need. So far, the outbreak has killed over 400 people. Abdul's wife is the latest victim. He buried her here just yesterday. She was 21 years old.
Her situation deteriorated, so we rushed her to the hospital. They couldn't help her. We took her to another hospital, but by then it was too late.
Abdul was left widowed, and his 6-month-old son without a mother. With no peace in sight, Yemen's war will continue to tear families apart.
A female zookeeper at a British wildlife park has died in what has been described as a freak accident involving a tiger. Exactly how she died is yet to be confirmed.
Police said the female zookeeper, who has not yet been named, was mauled to death by one of the park's tigers inside their enclosure. It's not yet known exactly how. The park was busy with bank holiday visitors, and several posted photographs as the Magpas air ambulance landed. Those in the park were led away, though some people said they were allowed back in for a short period before the park was closed by zoo officials, who later handed out a short statement which said, "This appears to have been a freak accident. At no point during the incident did any animals escape their enclosures, and at no point was public safety affected in any way." 9 years ago, a cheetah escaped through a broken electric fence. It was later recaptured nearby and no one was hurt. The forensics vans have now left. The police say there are no suspicious circumstances surrounding what happened. A full investigation is underway in the zoo, where this evening the animals are being prepared for the night.
We are not even halfway through the year and North Korea has fired off a dozen missiles already. Kim Jong-un is challenging the United States with his increasingly ambitious rocket program.
Kim Jong-un pushes aggressively ahead in his effort to threaten his enemies with nuclear-tipped missiles. North Korea has just launched its third missile test in 3 weeks. A short-range ballistic missile was fired from an area near Wonsan. It traveled approximately 248 miles, splashing down within Japan's exclusive economic zone, an area where commercial ships are known to operate. One analyst believes the test was designed to simulate a strike on an American base.
It was apparently a preparation for an attack on Iwakuni, which is a U.S. Marine base in southwest Honshu Island of Japan. This is becoming a routine accelerated launch schedule.
Kim is testing missiles at a breathtaking pace. 12 missiles fired in 9 tests so far this year. Experts warn the test of a short-range missile like the one Kim just launched, while seemingly less menacing than some of his other weapons, allows the regime to tweak its missile technology and get closer to perfecting a long-range intercontinental ballistic missile which could someday carry a nuclear warhead to the U.S. mainland. U.S. officials also concerned about North Korea's development of a new arsenal of missiles, which use solid fuel rather than liquid fuel.
The solid are capable of being fired much more quickly. They don't necessarily have to be fueled or have sort of support apparatus. There's no launch pad or anything like that. And so they can be put on trucks, made mobile, and then therefore fired in principle from anywhere.
This puts more pressure on the U.S. to upgrade its ability to shoot down North Korean missiles. The Pentagon preparing for an interceptor test on Tuesday. President Trump tweeting about the North Korean threat, quote, "North Korea has shown great disrespect for their neighbor, China, by shooting off yet another ballistic missile. But China is trying hard." Japan's prime minister, furious with a North Korean missile landing so close to his shores, vows to respond.
In order to deter North Korea, we will take concrete action together with the United States.
What options for so-called concrete action do Japan and the U.S. have here?
Cyber or missile action. The missile action could shoot down a missile test from North Korea should another occur. The cyber action or the launching of aircraft to harass and to inspect North Korean bases could also put the North Koreans on alert.
Current and former U.S. military officials have said the U.S. has a program to disrupt North Korean missile launches with cyber attacks. It's a program that the New York Times reports President Obama ordered to be accelerated about 3 years ago. It's not clear which, if any, North Korean missile launches may have been disrupted by hacking, but Kim Jong-un has reportedly ordered investigations into possible sabotage, looking for spies inside his regime.
Here with National EMTV News. Up next, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Papua New Guinea international David Brown says he's raring to go in his next match for the country. The young midfielder, who was controversially sent off in his debut, says it's good to be back in training with the team.
For midfielder David Brown, being back in Papua New Guinea and alongside fellow countrymen has been amazing so far. Speaking alongside vice-captain Alwyn Comalong, Brown says he's happy to be back home.
Long time straight, but good to come back now. Look at Mangi now, training with the squad. So all boys look sharp, so I look forward to the game.
Giving moral support to the quietly spoken Brown, Alwyn Comalong, who says the team is in high spirits, especially after the SP Sport Awards ceremony, which saw them take out the Team of the Year award.
Yeah, I think me plus up straight, but until morning, this la feeling, also me plus winning this la award I'm setting. Also, I'm just proving hard work me plus for everyone. Also, I'm involved for couples, past and present. I'm just it's for everyone this la award. And I think support thank you must go back and all support us me plus help vote this la award. Thank you, Lisla Award, so that's all we can say.
Brown was nothing short of brilliant on debut for Papua New Guinea. His class brought to the fore in the match against Tahiti, dominating in his role on the left side of midfield, with Tahiti's experienced defenders struggling to cope with FC Gronyeg player. Tia goes for a good cross-in. His debut, however, cut short when amidst controversy he was sent off. And it's a straight red card. His red card from that match, however, has since been downgraded to a yellow, which will allow him to take the pitch against Solomon Islands on June the 9th in Honiara.
Yeah, definitely. Red card appeal and come good now. Now we can play one day. 2 black games less size, me 1 bell.
In this team ride the hopes and aspirations of a nation. Both 21-year-old Brown and Vice Comalong headline the new breed of PNG's international talent. A youth-based side with a smattering of experience in the likes of Raymond Gunemba, Ronald Warrison, Michael Foster and Nigel Dabinyaba. And alongside the rest of their teammates will be heading overseas against Solomon Islands in high spirits and buoyant. Other members of the side yet to join include Aaron Spain, George Sleffendorfis and Jamie Woodlock, who are waiting their dual citizenship visas to be approved. Jeremy Muggy, National TV Sports.
The national women's snooker titles will queue off tonight in Port Moresby. 32 women have been placed into 8 groups in this year's tournament. Current women's champion Geward John will be aiming for a 12th consecutive title and will face stiff competition when she takes on Perpetua Milliken in the first match. The tournament will be played in 3 locations: the Lamana Q Club, Laguna Hotel and Aviat Club. The finals are set to be played on the 3rd of June. Turning to cricket, and the Girls Empowerment Through Cricket program won the Community Initiative Award last Saturday during the SP Sports Awards for its contribution of human development through sport. Like the other 2 nominees, this program has positively impacted the lives of others with its awareness on important health and social issues.
Nominated alongside basketball's Hoops for Health and Rugby League's weeklong Life, the Girls Empowerment Program through cricket was recognized for its work in 2016.
The Sports Community Initiative Award goes to the Girls Empowerment Program through cricket.
Last year was also its second year of running, and it was carried out in 2 schools here in NCD. And recognizing the ever-growing social and health issues affecting the lives of women and girls in the country, incorporating educational sessions into the program was Cricket PNG's contribution to society by educating young girls on how to look after themselves health-wise and socially. With the 2 main aims of increasing female participation in hardball cricket and empowering them through health and social education, this Cricket PNG program, along with various partners, addressed key social issues such as gender-based violence, HIV and AIDS, cervical cancer, alcohol abuse, and many other health and social issues.
We have really good, loyal partners that we worked with because they've seen that the program was an entry point for them to increase their awareness. So we had a good partnership on that. So we worked along partners like Anglicare PNG, IBS, NCD Taekwondo. We also have Coalition for Change and NCD Health.
Initially, it was planned to start off with 4 schools. Unfortunately, its schedules clashed with 2 of these schools' programs, so it was eventually carried out in only 2 schools. Along with that, the participants, mainly secondary school girls, were primarily introduced to softball cricket to get them going. And like the Hoops for Health and weeklong Life programs, the sports development program was supported by the Australian government through the Pacific Sports Partnership Program.
Good night, everyone. On behalf of Cricket PNG, I would like to thank SP Brewery, PNG Olympics Committee, Sports Foundation for recognizing the program. I would also like to thank the 2 finalists. We've worked along together. It's pretty challenging and an exciting job as well. So congratulations, it's an achievement for us all.
There are plans in place to reach outside centers in the near future, and for now, Komang says they will strive to eventually achieve that. Dini Rose Raiko, National, EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Representatives from the Pacific Region's Anti-Doping Organization are in Port Moresby conducting an awareness workshop on anti-doping. Godwin Eki reports.
A week-long anti-doping program held in Port Moresby was the first in the country that saw more than 30 coaches and athletes participate in the workshop. The program, facilitated by anti-doping organization, advocates, promotes and coordinates anti-doping through the education programs in the Pacific. While many participants in the program know little about the anti-doping, it is more than just an athlete being tested.
What we had discovered and what the participants have discovered, that doping is about you not complying with the rules of doping control when you are selected for drug testing, or when your coach is actually giving you a medication that is actually banned because you have diabetic. So insulin is actually a banned substance in sport, and asthma medication is a banned substance in sport. So these are some of the things that we wanted to make sure that they are aware of.
She says while the Pacific region is slowly adapting to the Anti-Doping Act and the way the tests are conducted, advocated, and the process of anti-doping and what it requires during the act is important for both coaches and athletes. She added that it is better for athletes to know what type of drugs are acceptable and illegal to use and the process required for anti-doping tests.
For international standard of testing, we only deal with urine and blood. So we haven't really gone into collecting saliva sample from athletes, or we haven't even gone out to actually drug test a coach. We only focus on the athletes themselves. But if there is any coach actually using a prohibited substance and someone actually witnessed that and reports that to the anti-doping organization, then that coach can actually serve a sanction period or ineligibility period of maybe around 2 to 4 years.
Director of PNG High Performance, Aaron Alsop, said although it took a while to get the program to PNG, it has come at a time when many athletes are competing overseas.
But also, I guess, some other areas of compliance, which is really important. You know, it's to understand what we need to be doing for the athletes and the coaches is really good, but there's also the compliance factor as government that we need to take some responsibility for. And the Olympic Committee also has their responsibility of compliance through ONOC as well. So,
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
To English football, Huddersfield are now back in competition and in the top 5 for the first time in 45 years after winning the Champion Playoff final. Here are the highlights.
The last game of the English season, arguably the most important, certainly the most lucrative. At stake, the final place in next season's Premier League, a prize worth at least £170 million. A year ago, Huddersfield and Reading looked more likely to be relegated than promoted, but now a royal occasion to decide who would rise to football's promised land. Huddersfield have been outside the top tier since 1972, and their hopes were not helped by finishing like this, when it looked easier for Izzy Brown to score than miss. Reading tried their luck from further out, but were no more successful. There was barely anything to choose between these sides during the regular season, and nor could they be separated in regular time here, with chances few and far between at either end. An extra 30 minutes proved just as tight, so penalties would be needed, and after Jordan Obita was denied by Danny Ward, Christopher Schindler made no mistake to send Huddersfield into dreamland. Their 45-year wait ended in the most dramatic fashion. Well, the Reading fans leaving here are distraught. They've now lost 4 playoff finals in a row. For Huddersfield, it's glory, and they can look forward to the Premier League and the enormous rewards that come with it.
And that ends Zookeeper Sports. Up next, your weather details for the next 24 hours.
Zookeeper Sports. Zookeeper Sports.
A look at your weather for the next 24 hours in the southern region. Partly cloudy in Daru, cloudy periods in Port Moresby, cloudy periods in Kerma, cloudy with some evening showers for Alotau, partly cloudy for Popondetta. To the Momasa region, cloudy in Ley and Wa with a top of 31, mostly fine at 31 in Medang, showers and thunderstorms, a top of 31 for Wewak, a top of 32 for Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, partly cloudy in Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul, mostly fine in Kimbe with a top of 32, a top of 31 fine becoming cloudy in Buka Autonomous Region of Bougainville. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg, all these major centers can expect some cloudy weather and showers over the next 24 hours. And that's the way it is this Tuesday, the 30th of May 2017. From the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.